Rugby is a simple game that was invented in New Zealand by the Maori warriors. All it involves is first you, a rugby ball, athletic clothing, and of course your cleats. And that's just if you want a simple version. If you want to play the real thing, you want 15 on 15, so 15 players. And then of course goalposts, 120 meter field, and then of course coaches and refs. So, first things first, passing and catching. Now, passing in rugby is very simple. You put one hand on this part of the ball, one hand on the back side of the ball, put your waist, and you propel it forward and spin it. You can do that a couple times. And catching is just like that. Grab it with both hands and bring it down. Running. Now in rugby, in the average game, you run 5 to 8 miles, and so you have to be in very good physical conditioning, and running is a huge part of the game. So another important detail in rugby is defense. Now on defense, you want to stop the ball, so you want to tackle him. So my dad on defense, I'm on offense, he's going to tackle me. In rugby, because the game never stops. I mean, the offense never resets, and the defense never resets. There's no timeout. There's a halftime. That's it. This is how the ball recycles. It's called the ruck, and you can call it the dog pile if you want, because that's what it normally turns into. But it involves the offense and the defense, and so this is my dad, and I'm his teammate, and so I'm following him, and he has the ball, and he gets tackled and goes down. He first staples the ball behind him and lets go. And then 1 or 2, maybe 3 of the offensive players comes up, they grab his shirt, and they make a wall. And now, then the defense wants to come, get as low as possible and try and push him over. And there's a certain position, which I'll talk about later, which will come over, and I'll pick up the ball, and I'll take it out. But let's say the defense commits 5 guys instead of 3. And they push the offense over. They have a chance to grab the ball, pick it up, and turn the ball over. And because everyone's on offense and defense, they can just pick up the ball and go. And just keep on playing. And that's why the ruck is one of the biggest parts of the game. I'm on defense, and I go up. And I hit him. And he tries to pass the ball, and I hit it. You can't do that because it's a knock-on. And a knock-on, you can't throw the ball or pass the ball forward. That'll get you a penalty as well. That's a turnover if you do that. And so I hit the ball, and so it's a knock-on. The ref calls the penalty. All the defense has to back up 10 meters. And then the offense picks up the ball, puts the ball down, they tap it with their foot, pick it up, and they start the game again. So those are simple penalties. The one where you run 10 meters back. The scrum is a heavier penalty, and you can either turn over a ball in that, or you can get the ball again. And that involves 18 players, kind of the linemen of rugby. And you have 8 players and 8 players, and then another secondary player as well. So these 8 players, they come up, they lock up with each other, and so you have these 2 big groups. And then the front people, they lock up. So you have kind of a flat dog pile. And then, that secondary player grabs the ball like this, and whichever team needs the ball, the ref will show if it's the offense or defense. And he'll throw, and he'll roll the ball in. And then, and that starts what's called the scrum. And with the scrum, these 2 big groups, and they start pushing together. They start pushing and pushing. And whichever team pushes over each other, and the ball is underneath, they kick the ball back, and then that secondary player goes, runs behind, picks up the ball, and passes out to the offense. and then they can go down and score. When the ball goes out, because you can't stop the game, the defense runs over. They have one position, which I'll talk about again. I'll talk about it again later. They'll pick it up. They'll throw the ball over like this, and the team, and there are certain positions that do this. They go and they line up very quickly, and he calls it. And both teams, one player runs in, two players hold him up. So I have these two guys floating in the air. He'll throw it down right in between those, and whichever team grabs the ball, they dish it to their team, and then they can run down. And so you just, again, it's very fast. The game doesn't stop, so you just watch it as the ball goes up. So the team runs, and they run all the way down to what's called the try-zone, kind of the end zone of rugby. They go down to the try-zone, they go, but the difference is you can't just run in. You have to touch the ball to the ground. And you have to, on most circumstances, you have to leave it. And if you don't, the defense can come. If you don't touch it to the ground, the defense can come, they can pick you up, and then you can't touch it to the ground. If you can't touch it to the ground, you can't score. And so you have to, for the first thing you have to do is touch it to the ground. Then, after you get that, that's 5 points. So now you have 5 points. Similar to football in this way, you can also kick it in right after you scored. It's a free kick.